Hello guys, welcome back once again. I'm loving Julie Reaction. Today I want us to watch this collection of videos and see how Maga farmers are really going bankrupt. Kindly watch till the end and I'll be back with more comments. This video is for education purposes and all credits goes to the original creator of the videos.
So the people who say no handouts just lined up for a handout. Now tell me why farmers in Arkansas are standing outside with their hands out again, begging Uncle Sam for money. See, when it's regular people struggling, rent too high, groceries too ridiculous, can't afford health care, the answer is always from these people: stop complaining, stop asking for handouts, and pull yourself up by your bootstrap. Farmers in Arkansas are crying out to the feds for stimulus money like it's open mic night. And look, I get it, because times are hard everywhere. When you plant your crops, raise your cattle, take on the risk of farming, wasn't that a personal business decision? So why is it on me and you to make sure that that decision keeps paying out? Because see, when you and I make bad decisions, government doesn't cut us a check to make it right for us. Now, let's connect the dots here a little bit. These are the same people voting for the same politicians who say government is the problem. Yet as soon as the tractors stop running and their profits dry up, government magically turns into a solution for them. Ain't that funny and ironic? The question is, do we owe farmers any help? Or do they need to practice what they preach? Figure it out. Tighten that belt. Leave taxpayers out of it. Because last I checked, it's really not our problem to fix somebody else's gamble.
So that's what we got for American farmers, is zero income. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is well, next time you'll vote the right way, or that's what you get for who you voted for. That, to me, I want to say it doesn't sound very American of people, but here lately, that's all we're doing is complaining. The last thing I want is an American business to fail. I don't know how much more we're going to see for the next 3 or 4 years. Last thing I want is an American farmer to go under, because us as Americans didn't want to do anything to support them. I don't care what side of the fence you're sitting on in this. The last thing we need is our land to be gobbled up by our corporate people to lease it out to another country so that they can come in and do what they want on the soil. Think about it, people.
For decades, we've been told that we can't feed kids free lunch because that's socialism. We've been told that we can't give partial credit towards college scammy loans because that's socialism. We can't have universal health care. Your Nana can't get the cancer treatment that she needs because Medicare for all would be socialism. We can't feed and help the homeless because of socialism. Everything that doesn't benefit you is socialism. We've been hearing this about everything that would be good for society for decades. And the second that you need a helping hand, it's a necessary thing. It's not just, guys, this is actually good for everybody. That's why I need that money. I voted for you. You voted against me. I voted so that you could stay in business and get the help you needed. You voted to hurt people that didn't look like you. And that's why I hope you have the day that you voted for. And I hope you get everything you voted for that we told you was going to happen. This is the America you wanted. You said it's not very American. You voted for this. You voted for this, and now you're getting what you voted for. And I'm sorry that you're not smart enough to have actually looked into what we told you was going to happen. Have the day you voted for.
I need all the farmers for Trump to come to the front of the class, because I hear you're asking the rest of us for money because Donald Trump's tariffs are going to financially ruin you. And what's so funny about that is, didn't Donald Trump and his tariffs bring you to the brink last time? Because he got you into a trade war with China. And now China is basically cutting off corn, soy, all agricultural products, and they're looking to other places like Canada, Brazil, anywhere else they can get agricultural products, and U.S. farmers are the ones left holding the bag. There's a soybean farmer that's been making the rounds here, and he's saying, I voted for Donald Trump 3 times, and I was glad to, and I like his policies, but these tariffs are hurting us, and I need you to stop this, Mr. President. And they're asking us for another bailout, the taxpayers. Another bailout because they decided to vote for Donald Trump for a 3rd time. That's a fuck around and find out, my friends. And I'm not here to help financially support these people. They want to bitch and moan, all these people on the right, about people being on welfare and people needing handouts. And well, farmers, wear those bootstraps that you guys like to talk about all the time. Why don't you find them and pull yourselves up from them? Because we are tired of bailing you out. I understand that if you don't get bailed out and these tariffs ruin you guys, it's going to have a huge impact on the rest of us. But I knew that before the election. I knew that when I was stumping for Kamala Harris and telling people not to vote for Donald Trump. So you're fuck around and find out. I hope it's a little more personal because you guys decided to continue to vote against your own interest and cut off your nose to spite your face. It's time you sit in it for a minute.
It's Joe from Georgia. So another state is in the news about collapsing their farming industry, and it's the great state of Arkansas. They held meetings in Arkansas this week with the farmers because of the dire situations that they are in. Because, folks, they're not being able to sell their products. They have money in the ground, but they can't get any money out because the United States government, which had guaranteed them certain things, were lost in the big, beautiful bill. Well, in these meetings, it has been said that if an emergency bailout, which is what the farmers are asking for, folks, they're asking for a bailout in Arkansas, that 1/3 of them will file bankruptcy. Hundreds of millions of dollars going into bankruptcy. So you're going to have these people who generational wealth will be totally wiped off the map in the state of Arkansas. But here we go again. Another state that overwhelmingly supported the president in his race. And believe it or not, there are still 70% of those farmers will say they believe in the tariffs that are putting them into bankruptcy. Folks, when those type of things are happening in your life, you've got to ask yourself, would I have thought this way 10 years ago? And I'm going to say pretty easy, the answer is no. You're not going to worship the thing that's bankrupt.
So that's what we got for American farmers is zero empathy. We want them to fail. That's what you're saying out there. That's what Americans are saying right now is well, next time you'll vote the right way.
Sir, how do y'all pray publicly the other day for God to take pity on you, but you don't take pity on the people who asked you not to vote the way that you did? How do you not see the problem here? How do you ask for empathy, ask for pity, ask for sympathy from the general public? And the general public is clapping back and telling you, like, well, what can we do? You all asked for this. You literally asked for this. He said what he was going to do. This is not something he lied about. This is what he said he was going to do. In the rare moment, he told the truth. And he's doing it. And the lie was that other countries would pay, but you knew. You're smart. You have degrees. Some of you have masters and more. You know science. You know math. You know things. You know business. You knew that he was lying about other countries paying the tariffs. You knew that was going to have to come back on you. And you knew that there would be a risk that other countries would not want to buy from you because they don't want to deal with the country anymore because of tariffs. And here we are. Presumably, you know the Bible and the verse of Deuteronomy that says, I call forth heaven and earth today to bear witness that I set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Therefore, choose life that you and your seed may live. And you all chose death. You all chose cursing. I'm not going to say you're living under a curse, but I am going to say you're living under consequences of your decisions. So you're not dumb. And I guess you thought either you're going to get a $28 billion bailout like the first time, or you're going to cash in and have a windfall off of those tariffs. But as is evidenced by even billionaires, and some of y'all thought like, oh, I'm a white man, I'm different. He's not going to get rid of my labor force. He's not going to send ice for my farms. Have fooled you. And you're like, I'm special, I'm different, I'm a white man. He's a white man. He's looking out for us. He doesn't look out for anyone but himself. As evidenced by billionaires sounding the alarm that man is ruining the economy for everyone. So let's recap. You have some knowledge of God enough to pray for him, at least in your last ditch attempt to save yourselves, your money, really, not even yourselves. You're not dumb. right? So it's two things. The only other thing I'm left with is that within your heart, soul, spirit, and the marrow of your bones is the infestation of disgusting racism. That is in your heart. That is who you are. And instead of you choosing to work on it and decide not to be it, because it actually affects everything, and as we were telling you, it's expensive and nobody survives it in the end. It ruined the country once. It ruined the world once. But y'all are not dumb. You could have paid attention, but you said maybe this time it'll be different. It never works out. You didn't choose life. You didn't choose blessings. You chose death and curses. And now your seed, your literal seed, is going to die. Well, it might not die. It might be sold off for pennies on the dollar along with the land to Monsanto. So get those contracts drawn up, baby. You can't be saying that you know God, believe in God, and love God, and have none of God's love in you, and then stand up there and say, on Judgment Day, I want to answer for how I voted. How are you going to answer now? God can get you out of situations you put yourself in, but sometimes a hard lesson has to be taught.
It's Mamaw, and welcome to my porch. Well, I'm hearing a lot about these farmers that are upset that this is not what they voted for, and they need help, they need bailed out because Taco in 8 months' time has shut down USAID, which bought a lot of our farm goods. They have really reduced SNAP benefits, which is under the Department of Agriculture. So we've done a lot of things to hurt farmers. Now, I am 100% behind. If we have a drought, we have flooding, we have tornadoes, we have any kind of massive weather event, even the war in Ukraine where the world is being reduced of grain, that we should kick in and help out. I'm all for that. Absolutely. What I'm having heartburn with is why we would bail out farmers who voted for Taco, who every farm in this area, they had Farmers for Trump signs out. Absolutely anything he wanted to do was fine and dandy as long as they thought they were screwing the other guy. Because what we have now is them crying, well, we didn't vote for this. No, honey, this is exactly what you voted for. And now it's coming back to get you. Remember, karma. Whatever you wish on somebody else is going to come and get you. We have food rotting in the fields because we don't have farm workers. They're afraid of ice. This is all related. So we already give farmers farm subsidies to not farm. In fact, a lot of corporate farmers and big conglomerates that get together to buy land file their property in as a farm subsidy, or what they used to call soil bank, and the government makes their payments for them. So now they're not happy. Well, you just remember, all of you who are members of the Farm Bureau and your grain associations, or the American Cattlemen's Association, or Beef Association, or pork farmers, you just remember, this is exactly who you endorsed. This is exactly what you voted for. And these tariffs and things, this is exactly what he said he was going to do. You just didn't think it was going to affect you. Stay salty, use your outside voice.
It's not my responsibility as a taxpayer to bail out your farm because you don't understand how a tariff works. On my list of people I don't feel sorry for today, the farmers. Don't feel bad for you. You voted for this. He campaigned on tariffs. He told you he was going to do this, and it's not our fault that you don't understand how tariffs work. We tried to tell you. So now, when your soybeans aren't being bought by China because of tariffs, and the soybean market crashes like everything else in this economy, we tried to warn you. So stop congesting town halls asking for government handouts and bailouts, because not that long ago, you were telling all of the essential workers and the healthcare workers who were asking for student loan forgiveness that you took the loan out. You pay it back. It's not our responsibility as taxpayers to pay your student loans. I hope you have the day you voted for.
As a black farmer, I hear white farmers ask all the time, where is all the money for farmers? Well, let me tell you, white farmer, where all the money went. It's in the poppy fields of Afghanistan, in the oil fields of Iraq. It's also in the jungles of freaking Vietnam. That's where it's at. It's exactly where you keep voting for it to be. It's in Israel. Did you know that in Israel, there's an NYPD headquarters in Tel Aviv? Why in the hell is an American police agency in a foreign country? You know, your tax dollars, your farm money is being loaded in 155 meter shells for Ukraine right now. For white on white crime in Europe between Putin and Zelensky, which has nothing at all to do with me, but I'm paying for it. And that's where all your money is going for. It's going towards whatever you keep voting for. So it's called karma. You're suffering it right now.
So for those of y'all who've been keeping up with recent events as it relates to the farmers, right? We talked about Nebraska, and then we talked about Iowa, and all of these farmers, you know, are losing their minds because they're losing their farms, and, you know, they're scared. Well, let me tell y'all what I heard today. So the lobbyist groups for the farmers are proposing another bailout of $16 billion. The last time syphilitic Sid did this in his first administration, they received a whopping $24 billion in bailouts. Well, this time around, syphilitic Sid said he doesn't know if he can do that. He's not sure that that's something that they can accommodate. Look, I love the farmers. The farmers are wonderful. They farm, right? They farm. But, you know, we're trying to cut fraud and waste and a lot of unnecessary spending. So now these people and their lobbyists are trying to get bailouts. But what I want to understand is, what happened to you got to pull yourself up by the bootstraps? What happened to we voted for him because he's a great businessman? What happened to we're going to put our trust in him because he's going to help us? Help y'all do what exactly? Lose your farms? Yes, that part. Because you know who invests in these companies that buy up bankrupted farms? Your vice president. So, to all you farmers that voted for this, thinking it was going to be like the last time and he was going to give y'all a bailout and y'all would get those subsidies to support yourselves and your farms and your families, it's not coming. Not this time around. It's not coming. You can just forget it. So, I wish you well. I hope it works out for you. Maybe, you know, somebody can whisper in his ear and change his mind. You know, you might want to reach out to Ivanka because she's his favorite and he listens to her, I guess. But they're not really speaking, you know, ever since like the insurrection. But I don't know. This is just word on the street. You know, it's just gossip, but you didn't hear it from me. But, you know, good luck.
I'm so glad you asked that question. Not out loud. Not out loud. If you go on here, you'll see the videos for Arkansas farmers. One guy literally, as they're asking for government handouts, which one of my favorite comments on that video was, if I can't get my student loans forgiven, why should I have to bail out your farm? Which, I'm involved in farm. I work in farming, and also, so, but that guy, the farmer, the Arkansas farmer, he said, specifically, the tariffs are making our goods that we're growing and selling more expensive, too expensive now. So these other countries are getting their soybeans and their corn and stuff from Brazil, from elsewhere, because of the tariffs. Did he say Trump's tariffs? No, he did not. And I live in Washington State. It is Democrat run, 100%. But I, working in farming, had the opportunity to go to my local farm bureau meeting where it was like a local election thing, but I was asked to present some information about my farm and that I work at. I don't own it. But they had a couple of Republican representatives, because Republicans, farmers, they're giving kind of an update on the things. Now, Washington State is unique in that we don't have an income tax. We are sales tax or property taxes. That's how we make our money. Rightfully so, there is a lot of frustration, as expressed by these Republican state representatives, that farmers are having to pay more taxes to pay for things in the state, because we don't have a state income tax. And they always blame the Democrats. Democrats are not without blame. They have control, right? But they never say tax the rich. They just blame Democrats for raising the taxes on the farmers. Well, taxes have to come from somewhere, right? And I absolutely think Democrats should be taxing people more. But Republicans themselves could say, we need to help out these small farmers. Why aren't we taxing Boeing, Expedia, Amazon, Starbucks? We have big companies here in Washington State. We are tech. We are tech or farming here in Washington State. And never once in that Farm Bureau's meeting that I was at was it, we need to find other places. We need to raise corporate taxes. We need to have a billionaire tax, of which there are many here, or some here, many millionaires here in the Puget Sound area. But they just blame the Democrats. And so it will never lie with Trump, because in Arkansas, they voted for him. 62% of farmers voted for him, and they will now lose their farms. A lot of them will lose their farms, which is not a problem for the tech bros and the corporations, because Jeff Bezos's land acquisition arm, or whoever, they'll just come in up and buy that farm, and those farmers can work there fixing the tractors or whatever, because this is what, and I don't actually wish FAFO on farmers. I don't know how they're going to get out of this. And the hypocrisy of taking as many government subsidies as farmers do, while also shitting on individuals who accept SNAP and other subsidies like that, and safety nets, is not lost on me as a progressive liberal person who also works in farming. I really wish they would blame the right people, but that's just the story of them.
So I've seen a lot of people on here posting about the farmers wanting a bailout and not caring. And the level of callousness that I've seen is amazing. This is what we need. No more when they go low, we go high, or whatever. Whatever she said, I don't care. Keep it up. Heartless, cruel. Look, remember, those people who are heartless and cruel to you, it's okay to be heartless and cruel back. It doesn't make you a bad person. Like, turn the other cheek is some bullshit, okay? We've been turning cheeks. We're out of cheeks. You hit these, there's no more cheeks. Maybe we're out of cheeks. So keep it up, because I think that you're all right. I think that they did vote for this. I think that they didn't care as long as it wasn't them that was getting hurt. And now that they're getting hurt, they want us to help them. And you know what? No.
Farmers in the United States are now saying that they need a bailout, and they're asking the Trump administration to provide it to them on the backs of federal income tax. Now, they did the same thing during Trump's trade war with China in 2018 and 2019, and that resulted in a $23 billion payout to farmers in 444 counties that are farming dependent in the United States, or $63 million per county. Now, farmers across the country fully support Donald Trump, and in those farming dependent counties, all but 11 of them went for Donald Trump. So 433 counties voted on average 78% for Donald Trump. Now, these same farmers in these same counties are now saying we need a bailout from the federal government because of climate change, which some of them still don't believe in, and Donald Trump's tariffs and a worsening economic thing, with one farmer in Texas saying he used to sell his sorghum across the border to Mexico, and now there's no reason to because the economic policies make it too expensive and not competitive there. So how do you feel about bailing out farmers once again when they knew what they were voting for, when they cast their ballot for Donald Trump and just assumed that once again they would get a bailout in billions of dollars, all because they're farmers and Donald Trump likes them?
It's amazing to me how all of a sudden that particularly the farmers across the United States are fully understanding of how tariffs work. I mean, they couldn't get it through their thick skulls in November of 2024, how tariffs operated, but now they do, and because they're being harmed by these tariffs, they need government handouts. Now they love socialism, and they want all this money from the government to help their farms because the president has instated tariffs on their crops that are being sent to other countries like China in particular, with the soybeans. And, you know, I just wish I had some sympathy, but I'm fresh out. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Figure it out. Go hire some Caucasian people that live near you. This is what you voted for. This is what you get.
So farmers are the backbone of this country. There is no denying that. They produce the food that eventually gets put into the stores that you and I buy and put onto our plates when we eat dinner with our family. But the farmers in Arkansas right now are having a bit of an issue because of the weather conditions, like all the flooding, and the high costs of everything that were already existent before Trump became president. But now the tariffs are affecting them even more because, believe it or not, farmers' equipment, like their tractors and everything else, they get their parts to repair them from foreign countries. Even John Deere has a supply chain in China. And specifically these farmers, they were one of Trump's biggest demographic support groups. All of them, if not the majority of them, voted for Trump. And now they're asking for a government handout because his tariffs are affecting everything. They're asking him to help them. They're asking him for equal share of companies across the board, for private corporations to be out of the picture and let them run all the stock options. And I'm sitting over here like, that's fucking socialism. You want equal everything for everybody. That's socialism. And that's something you guys said was bad. So I need y'all to bend over, grab them bootstraps, and pick your fucking selves up, because this is the shit you fucking voted for. No pity for me at all.
Today in Trump's America, small-town farms in Arkansas are begging for welfare. They can't sell their soybeans to China. Who knew that so many farmers were making $10,000 an acre from China? Who knew? But instead of pulling up their bootstraps, they're going for welfare. They're going for subsidies. They're going for American handouts. Just mere months after saying, we don't support welfare programs, cut Medicare, cut Medicaid, cut everything to these LGBTQIARSTUV people. Pull up your bootstraps, Arkansas. Sell something Americans want to buy. Talk to your man Donnie Darko about the Department of War, because hell, they might be coming to your town soon. He might be bringing the National Guard to Arkansas and you won't have any farmland left anyway. Look, folks, Donnie Darko is destroying America, and if you can't see it, it's a part of the Heritage Foundation, Project 2025. Go look it up. It's a blueprint. Donnie Darko is following it to a T.
I tell you what, if the federal government caves in and gives these whining white farmers in Arkansas and all over the country welfare checks that they are crying and begging for because they are dealing with the consequences of their vote, then I hope that the National Black Farmers Association gets together and files a class action lawsuit against the government, just like those white farmers did in 2021 in order to block stimulus aid to black farmers. They sure did. They filed a lawsuit in 2021, white farmers, including those in Arkansas. to bar the federal government from giving a $4 billion stimulus package to black farmers and farmers of color because they felt it was reverse discrimination and it was unconstitutional. Well, if the federal government turns around and gives them money, then yes, National Black Farmers Association, please get together and file the biggest lawsuit that you can against the federal government. I've tagged John Boyd, who is the founder of the National Black Farmers Association, in this video. You all please go follow him, learn more about the National Black Farmers Association and how you can help them fight for economic justice for our black farmers. Thanks, y'all.
You know, that clip of that farmer is really going viral, of him saying, you know, I don't want to take a check, but we got to have checks because I don't want to go bankrupt. Listen, it's impossible to feel sympathy for people who voted against their own interests, especially when it was written in plain English. All they had to do was the most basic fucking thing, which is read Project 2025. But, you know, we were all alarmist, and he wasn't going to do that, although he's doing every fucking last bit of it. In Project 2025, it specified that it was going to eliminate subsidies to small farmers. The mentality behind agriculture related to Project 2025 is get big or get out. So all these small farmers are going to go out of business. That's part of the plan. It is part of the plan. And the big farms are going to come in and take over. And then we'll all be fucked. Again. So I have no sympathy for them. Zero.
Farmers had two choices in the 2024 presidential election. The man who's going to get us into a trade war with our allies and cause farmers to lose money, or the candidate who was going to give farmers crop insurance and expand trade so that farmers had more markets to sell to. Now they want bailouts from the government because they're about to go bankrupt. This is part of Project 2025, letting the big multinational billion-dollar corporations take over the small family farms. Now they want handouts because they're about to go bankrupt. I guess they hated immigrants and liberals more than they liked having food on the table.
Those Arkansas farmers crying up and down the timeline are killing me because they just discovered that racism and hate is very expensive. You voted for Trump for no reason because you could have taken 2 seconds out of your day to look up the policies that would directly affect you. As a farmer, why are you voting for somebody that's going to implement the stupidest tariffs? Why are you voting for somebody that is gutting infrastructure? Why are you voting for somebody that is going to have your land basically taken? I'm telling you, you're not going to be able to afford that farmland anymore, and it's going to be scooped up by all these tech companies and AI companies, and they are going to put these factories right on your land, and you are going to go obsolete. So congratulations, and you effed around and found out.
So everyone's talking about the farmers in Arkansas that are begging for welfare and a government handout and a bailout from President. Well, I don't think you guys are acting so sure that they're not going to get it. And I'm trying to figure out, why are y'all so sure that they're not going to get it? Because I think that's exactly what they're setting up to do. I think that exactly, I mean, these people have direct connections to Tom, Cotton Picking Tom. Cotton. They have direct connections to him, and I think that this is the whole point, the whole reason, like, they're getting together and whining and crying about it, and then they're going to send them all, they're going to steal money and give it to them, and they're going to also be looting and find ways to launder it and send it to themselves as well. Like, they're going to have their friends and family and send millions of dollars to them. Like, y'all gotta be one step ahead of these folks. Like, so many people are saying, oh, they're not gonna bail them out. They're not gonna get a bailout. I think that's exactly what's getting ready to happen. Just give it a couple of months or something. Maybe not even that long, because there's no way I just don't see it happen in today's politics and climate to where they are bending over backwards for those type of people and literally cutting off any minority groups, any brown, black people. They are cutting everything off, any type of funding, any type of help, anything. They're just getting rid of it for black and brown people. So I think, you know, you guys might want to hold your breath a little bit. Or don't. How does the saying go? I don't know. But I'm pretty sure they're probably about to just give away millions of dollars to these people and to themselves too, because they're definitely going to be stealing that money. There's always going to be a lot of fraud in situations like this. They'll definitely have their friends and family sign up and say they're farmers and probably give them millions of dollars or something.
Welcome back, and I hope you have watched that video and you have seen how Maga farmers are gradually going into bankruptcy. These people are really going into bankrupt. They are poor right now. We have seen many of them coming out and saying that they are releasing their farms because they don't have workers who can work in their farms. Their crops are rotting in the farms, and this is why it's leading for their bankruptcy. These people are really going into poverty. They are gradually graduating to be poor. Why? Because they don't have market to market their crops. They are now begging the government to bail them out. They are telling the government to find a solution for this trade war to stop. They are wanting the government to bail them out. These people are gradually going down day by day. These people are losing their properties, they are losing their works, they are losing their jobs. We have seen many of them coming out and crying and begging for help because they don't have any income. Now they depended on the farms, but now the farms are useless to them. We have seen many of them even coming out and saying that they are selling their farms, and we have seen the tycoon of the country, the people who are richer in the country and they are in the government sides, coming out and buying those properties from them. And this is what the government really wanted. They wanted to manipulate them so that they could vote for them, and in the end they will come and rule them completely. They wanted to overpower them, and they knew if we manipulate these white people, we will get those votes, and if we get those votes, we will the one ruling the country. Now they are ruling the country, and they can't even listen to the cry of these people. These people are really suffering. These people came out in large number and they voted in for this system, knowing that this system will punish the black people. They were cheated. They were intimidated to vote for them so that the government will make the policy that will affect the black people. But we are seeing now in reality, they are the ones who are suffering. They are the ones who are facing the consequences. The black people are telling them, we warned you but you didn't listen. And we have seen so many of white people coming out and saying that they are furious to black people because the black people are not coming out and expressing their suffering. But but as we know, the black people are not suffering. These people have been through hell all this while. These people have endured so many things that they can't even see anything bad with this government because they were neglected in a long period of time. They have learned to stay on their own. They have learned to struggle on their own. We have seen so many of them coming out and saying that as black people, we know how to survive in harsh economy. We know how to survive in this bad governance. We were neglected. We were treated like slaves for a long period of time. Now it's not the time for us to come out and say that we are in solidarity with these white people so that the government could find a way to reduce the cost of living. As black people, we have been living in harsh economy since independence, since you people took over this country. You haven't even on a single day come out and help us. Now you want us to help you. How? And we are the ones who came out and told you you should not vote in for this system, but you took our word as granted and you went on and voted for this government. Now you are telling us to come and join us in you for solidarity. No, we warned you but you didn't listen. You voted in for this government to punish us. You voted for this government to punish the immigrants. You voted for this government to punish the black people. You voted for this government to punish the the color of the people, but in real sense you are the ones who are suffering. You voted for this government to deport the immigrants, but you didn't care that these are the people that who worked on your farms. Now you are crying and saying that you don't have people to work on your farms. Go and call your fellow Maga people to come and work for your farms. Go and call your relative to come and work for your farms. As the black people who won't come out and work for your farms. We have seen even the white people coming out and telling the government that they should tell the nurses, the government nurses, that they should come and help them on weekends to help them to harvest the blueberries. But for sure, these people are the people who learned and who went for the courses. How can you expect a full nurse, a educated nurse, to come and work for your farm at the weekend? Surely you people, you should really sit down and find the solution to your problems. You should really come down and see what you will do to sustain you people. These black people now, they don't want to work for you. They are saying that we have better jobs, we are educated, we were just working for your farm so that we could not be lazy there. We were educated. We don't want to work on your farms anymore. We have better jobs now. These white farmers are really coming to depression. These people are really suffering. These people are really graduating into poverty. Now their farms are useless. They are saying that they don't see a need for them to have those farms, and they can't work on them. They can't have people to work on their farms. They can't plant their crops there because they don't have market to sell their crops. They don't have workers to work on their farms. Now their crops are rotting in the farms. We have seen so many of them burning the crops on their farms because they don't have anywhere to take their products to. We have seen them coming out in large numbers and begging the immigrants to come back and work for their farms. But these are the same people who voted for this government so that the immigrants could be deported. They didn't know that it will affect them. They didn't care who will come and work on their farms. They knew that if the immigrants will be deported, the black people will come and work for them. But it has really turned against them. The black people are saying that we are not coming to work on your farms. We have better jobs now. I love the comeback of the black people. I like how these black people are reasoning. I like how these black people are responding to these white people. Guys, if today is your first time coming across my my video, kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share, and see you on my next. Bye bye.